Mr. Chair, Excellencies, dear colleagues, 75 years after the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted, human rights and the rules-based order are under immense pressure. Conflict, inequality, climate change, the pandemic, they have all played their part in exerting growing pressure on human rights and the rules-based order. But the greatest challenge has been by design, through a concerted, well-orchestrated effort to undermine human rights and the rules-based order for geopolitical gain. Just a couple of days ago, the world marked the somber anniversary of the initiation of such an attack. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched its unprovoked, unjustified, and illegal war of aggression against Ukraine. Over the past 2 years, Russian troops have engaged in a horrendous panoply of war crimes and crimes against humanity: torture, deportation of children, conflict-related sexual violence, scorched earth attacks on civilians, forced movements or relocations of them, mistreatment and executions of prisoners of war, arbitrary detention and killings are very few of what is happening. We should add to these crimes the recent death of the opposition leader Alexei Navalny, the latest episode in a string of gruesome treatment of opponents by the Russian regime. What has been truly shocking, even more so than the crimes themselves perhaps, is the arrogance of the perpetrators who have flaunted their crimes for the whole world to see. And they must be held accountable. We fully support the mandate of the Commission of Inquiry, and as a member of the Human Rights Council, we will work hard alongside partners, allies and like-minded countries towards achieving the objective of bringing to justice the perpetrators. On 28th of February, we'll host in Tirana the Ukraine-Southeast Europe Summit to support Ukraine and denounce this illegal aggression and the crimes it has brought about, because by doing so we are in fact fighting for human rights and the rule-based order. But of course, this is not the only situation that deserves our attention. One of our biggest concerns is the war between Israel and Hamas and the dramatic humanitarian situation in Gaza. Albania has condemned the horrendous terrorist attack by Hamas on October 7th last year in the strongest terms. The apparent systematic use of rape and killing during the attack is particularly appalling and deserves this Council's attention. There is no cause, there is no argument that can justify or diminish the horror of that crime or the horror of Hamas' refusal to immediately and unconditionally release all the hostages. But we are deeply concerned and troubled by the humanitarian situation in Gaza, by the scale of destruction, by the suffering, death and injury. It is time for this tragedy to end. We must all work for that. We must find ways to stop the fighting, secure humanitarian and immediately for the innocent civilian population of Gaza. We must work with courage and determination to find a sustainable solution to this conflict that has, over the decades, caused so much grief and tragedy for all those involved. The wars in Ukraine and Gaza will not distract us from other grave situations in the world where human rights are being violated, where civilian population is suffering from war and oppression. The women and girls in Afghanistan and Iran deserve our particular support. And in this context, we reaffirm our commitment to support the independent international fact-finding mission on Iran, established by the Human Rights Council. Just as importantly, we will work to support the participation of civil society actors and human rights defenders, especially women, in the work of the Human Rights Council and on the ground. And this is a very important priority for my country, Albania. We're also preparing for the fourth cycle of the Universal Periodic Review at the end of this year. This will be an opportunity to present the actions we have taken to improve the human rights situation in our country and to share the best practices. The implementation of the recommendations has only strengthened our commitment and our conviction to continue the promotion and the protection of human rights. As a member of this Council, Albania vows to do everything in its power to promote and honor the UPR mechanism. Allow me to also emphasize that we attach great importance to the independence of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and fully support its role in protecting human rights worldwide. Let us recommit ourselves to the timeless principles of human rights and dignity. Let us stand in solidarity with those who are fighting for freedom and justice, and let us work together to build a world where every person can realize their full potential and live with dignity and respect. And I thank you. Thank you. Chair.